Is this thing on? Welcome to Rebooted the Podcast. I'm your host, Alita Hernandez. Come join me weekly to hear about my journey from recovery to healing after having a stroke and other life challenges. So let's get talking. Hi, everybody. I'm Alita Hernandez, Rebooted the Podcast, and today I'm honored to be interviewing an incredible artist, singer, visionary, and she'll tell us more about herself. Her name is Kaliyani, and she just came out with an incredible song called One Earth. So how are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you. And thanks for having me.
No problem. It was great to see you. And I guess tell me a little bit about this. It brought me in because I'm all about healing and helping and all the good things, all the positive things in this world, right? So when I saw your message that it said One Earth and your inspiration, and I have to read because it says here your message is of oneness and human connection to encourage all of humanity to be more conscious stewards of our planet.
Yes, that's right.
So how did you decide to do this song?
Well, I was actually asked to create the song by Neil Morgan, who is the CEO of Hands Around the World Foundation. And at the time, the founder of this organization is Ken Cragen, now late Ken Cragen. I got to meet him and have many meetings with him in 2020, between 2020 and 21. And I was helping them. I was moving in as a liaison for them and their project. And COVID hit them really hard, and it's a bigger than life project. I don't know if you know who Ken Cragen is, but he's a humanitarian music agent who created We're the World, with Michael Jackson and all those, tremendous artists that created that beautiful song, USA for Africa. So USA for Africa still exists and still collects funds and sends it to people in Africa, and some even in the United States. And Ken was talking about it back in 2020 actually. He passed in December of 2021.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah, it was very unexpected. It was just one thing led to another. And but if he had completed this project, he was probably going to be nominated to the Nobel Peace Prize or something like that, because he did Hands Across America in the 80s. I was actually not living in the US then, so I didn't even know about it, but I knew about USA for Africa. And I happened to meet them in 2020 in the summer, and I was introduced by a friend, and then they wanted to talk to me right away, and I was, I got involved. And then Neil kept saying, we have a few songs for this project, but we would like you to create one. I feel like, maybe your song will be the carrier song. And I was a little bit intimidated. I was like, well, this is the people who created USA for Africa, this agent, and but eventually, I got out of my own way, because every meeting we had, he kept saying, I think you're going to write a song for us, Kaliyani. Write a song for us, Kaliyani. And I was like, okay, usually when the universe invites, I just try to get out of the way and do it, Right. So it was a fun process, and I little by little just allowed myself to kind of download the lyrics and the melody. I do a lot of gardening in the summer because I have a big garden, and I love gardening, and I also swim. So I would be swimming and gardening, and the song would just kind of, I would hear, the song come through, and it was kind of fun like that. It's spontaneous. So that's how it got created, because usually my signature is not to create songs with I never felt compelled to write lyrics in English or in any other language. But given the cause, which is climate change, protecting the planet, and by the way, if you go to hands.world.org, you can see how beautiful this project is. If you look under the music video details, the link is right there as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I will.
So then you, yeah, you can see Ken talking and Neil, and it's based on an augmented reality where people are going to hold hands, you know, because hands across America, people actually held hands across the entire United States. I don't know if you remember that in the 80s.
Yeah.
But in, you know, if they try to do this today, everybody would be want to take selfies. You know, it's a different universe.
Yeah.
And they were like, how are we going to have people holding hands across the world? It's such a mega project, you know? And that's when Neil, who is very much into augmented reality and computer generated avatars and all that, came up with this idea, and it's still ongoing. You know, without Can, it has lost a little bit of, you know, that, you know, impulse, you know, and also COVID and the lockdown and all of that. So, but, you know, he's still hopeful and he's still pushing it forward, and there are people connecting, and there are people ready to go in, and when it's ready to blast off, you know. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. And I said, you know, this is my contribution to them, and they can license it for free. You know, it's my gift to the foundation. That was the proposal. And because I think, you know, it's very important for us to contribute however we can, and people like you and I who want to make a difference, who want to give back, who care, right?
Yeah.
So that's how this one happened. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I'm always looking. I mean, I get press releases all the time from different people, and I'm always combing through everything. And since I've been focusing more on this podcast, which I started last year, and I started it due to the fact that I had a stroke 6 years ago, and I had to change my life. It was either live or die. So I completely changed my lifestyle. So I tell people, it's not that I went on a diet. I changed my life. I changed the way I think. I changed the way I view things, you know, and really learning more about myself. So, you know, things like this is great. People need hope, right? People need hope in the world.
Absolutely.
So if we can give a little bit of hope to somebody out there, and if everybody just takes part of just, you know, saving the planet, doing a little bit. If everybody does a little bit, then it'll be less damage overall. That's why I think a lot of times people don't even know what to do or not to do.
Yeah, and this is how I wrote the lyrics, with the hope and the motivation to inspire people to understand the importance of their individual contribution, as small as it may seem. Every little choice we make, how, you know, we utilize our, you know, waste, and how, you know, not to purchase or choose to buy certain things, you know, maybe to not use plastic bags or plastic straws, or, you know, you name it, and look for alternative ways. There's a lot of alternative ways. There is actually plastic like utensils and plastic like straws and plastic like bags that are completely compostable and biodegradable, that will not, you know, if it is left in water, it will melt, like literally. So it's not good. It's not good for liquid waste, but for any other type of waste, those are the bags I use. And, you know, landfills filled with plastic bags and all that, if we choose to use something more consciously, and they're not more money, there's pretty much the same price. You can go online and look. You're going to find lots of non-plastic bags or compostable trash bags and things
Right.
like that.
Right.
And bamboo straws, and there's glass straw that you can buy and have forever. You never had to buy again, as long as you don't break them.
Yeah.
And I know, yeah. So it's kind of fun to explore, and to find how many different ways we can contribute.
Right.
And also, like in the video, I added some footage of some of very inspiring nonprofit organizations that are creating a huge difference, which started with grassroots movement, like just one or two people feeling really passionate about planting trees. Like One Tree is one of them. And there's extraordinary things being done.
There's so many options out there. It's just that people have to take the initiative to look for it. And I think that's the problem. A lot of people are like, if they don't see it in front of them, they don't even think about it.
Mhm.
And I'm a researcher, so I'm always looking for alternative things, and that's why I'd like to bring, different people on the podcast, just to give people, different ideas. Think of, think outside the box, right?
Yes.
And see
Yeah.
what we can do.
Sure.
Because I know for a fact about the landfill. So I'm right now in Fort Lauderdale at my studio, and we have the garbage dump, basically not too far from here. It's a big
Mhm.
mountain now. So when I got here 23 years ago to Fort Lauderdale, it wasn't a mountain. Now it's a huge mountain of garbage, and it's been 23 years. So another 23 years, I don't know where that mountain's going to go, because it's garbage on top of garbage on top of garbage, because nothing disintegrates. All the plastic and everything like that. And even though they say there's recycling, I don't even know if they really do recycling. Like they pick up our recycling, but there's been a lot of scandals I've heard that they're taking it, but they're not really recycling. So I don't even know. It's really hard to know what they're doing in the cities.
Hmm.
Well,
that's very sad, because recycling can create a lot of change and a lot of reduction in landfill. And recycling is reusing and not having to generate more plastic, but actually reconsuming the plastic that's existing. Because certain things, we still have not figured out. I guess the industry has not figured out how to replace, like
yeah. Once they made plastic, like they don't know what to do without plastic. Because before, for just an example, so my mother used to tell me, back in the 50s, right? They lived in New York. You used to get your milk delivered in glass jars.
Yeah.
Or glass, and they would come to your door and bring you milk, fresh milk.
Yeah.
So they stopped using, they used to sell milk in glass jars, and they started paper. Then they had the paper cartons, right? So and now they use plastic, because if you go even to buy almond milk, or regular milk, other milks, they put it in plastic jars and stuff like that.
I know.
Right.
So these are the things we can do. If we stop consuming, they will stop. They will have to change. The power of the one is the greatest power, because if everyone, they will go out of business, and it's never going to happen that they're going to go out of business. They will adapt to
Right.
our choice. It's our guidance. So that's why I feel like, in the lyrics, I hope people understand what I'm trying to say. We're the ones who create the grassroots movement, who create the foundation, who create the movements, who are restoring the planet. The big Bali cleanup. I love Bali. I've been to Bali a couple of times, and the last time I was there in 2018, I was heartbroken, because I would walk through the beaches. There are many rivers coming down to the beaches, and the rivers were flooded with plastic, all kinds. And, you have to understand, it's an island. So they're small, and, they receive a lot of products from the Western world, and they don't have a place to put it. And there is all kinds of, little chip bags and shoes and sandals and bottles and
Oh, it's horrible.
all it was everywhere. And then in 2020, Bali did the big Bali cleanup, and it was an extraordinary movement, but you have to understand, in islands, I was also in Christmas Island when I was trying to push forward this project with coral reefs and on a film that ended up not happening for me, but I met this beautiful, wonderful scientist, Dr. Kirby, who is he plants corals and back into the sea.
Yeah.
He's called the coral gardener. And in those islands also, they are being shipped tons of Western products, and it's a very, very small island, and it's completely flooded with trash, because to take the trash out, they have to bring a ship, and they have very low resources. It's a very, very small, people live in shacks and little thatched, open roof, like roofed but open walled type of, everybody's very simple life, almost indigenous, like native,
Right.
style.
Yeah.
And they don't have the resources to have a ship come to just take the trash out.
Wow.
So this is happening over and over again. That the concern with consumption of items, I wish the biggest media industry would educate people, but it's a touchy thing, because you would be affecting industry and jobs, because if you close a factory, you're losing jobs. So we have to create the opportunity to change slowly and consciously, but continually. We have to
Right.
continually create new avenues and new ways to disseminate knowledge. Like just you with your talk show, you have the opportunity to bring people to understand, things from a new perspective, and get empowered and understand
Exactly.
the power they have to create change.
Exactly. So all of us, like you, me, and any other people out there, each of us will make a little change, and we collectively get more people who are
Mhm.
same like-minded people, and then we can continue this and see how we
Mhm.
can help and get rid of these landfills. I mean, I don't know personally what they're gonna do with the garbage.
Mhm.
When I grew up in New York, we used to have incinerators in the building, so the garbage would
Mhm.
go down a chute and it would burn. But
Mhm.
then they said that the toxins from the burning of the garbage wasn't good. I don't know who said that, but they stopped burning the garbage, but because I don't even know what they do in New York now. Like New York is already beyond overcrowded, and then
Mhm.
I don't know where the garbage is. That
Mhm.
must be on boats somewhere or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I can feel, just talking to you, how that is been in the back of your mind for a while. It would be something, and it's a concern of yours. It would be kind of fun for you to explore interviewing somebody who is an expert in recycling or landfills, and
Right.
dig into who's responsible, who can I talk to, who can I bring to the show. That is your power, right?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
So
So we can talk about more and
yeah.
find out the process and everything like that. And since I'm close by, then that's a good idea. I'll have to reach out to them out here because
Mhm.
I mean, I always look at that. I look at the water. Like for example, our water here in the studio, it's terrible. I open the water to mop the floor, and I go, why is it coming out foam? Like a foam, and I can smell the chlorine. I can smell the chemicals.
Oh,
They put so much chemicals, so you can't drink that water. It's
I know.
impossible. You'll be sick. And
No.
each
And
city, each city has a different, like each city is different, which I don't understand either. So if you go to this, what I found out, if you go to the city water department, you can read exactly what's in the water. They put
Mhm.
all the chemicals they use to clean
Mhm.
the water. And then I was listening to something I was reading something the other day that they were saying that at one point that they might have to start recycling sewer water. And I'm like, why? Don't we have enough water to drink? Like, I'm gonna deep dive into that one because I'm like, I'm not drinking no sewer water.
Mhm.
I mean,
Well, it's there's already a lot of amazing technology to convert gray water into water that is utilizable for washing hands. There are actually homes that have been built with the system, and actually the water that's used for washing dishes and whatever goes into this gray water filtering system, and then they use that water to water their garden. It's
right,
all sustainable living. It's
right,
all about
right.
sustainability. So again, great to bring somebody who's a super top
Yeah,
expert on sustainability to the show and learn all that already exists,
exactly.
that is being used so that people can get educated, and and whoever can and has the opportunity can implement that in their lives, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, and I know you have other music. I didn't get to hear the other songs that you have on there, but I know you're from Brazil originally.
Yes, I am.
So, do you have music in Portuguese? You do Brazilian music or no?
No, I
No?
haven't. I haven't done. Maybe someday I will. I love bossa nova, but I haven't really. Yeah, I've taken a. It's we the music calling came from such a specific place, which was connected to um um to rebirthing the divine feminine into human consciousness. And it came from this place of awakening the sacred feminine in the hearts and
Mm,
minds of our culture. um that's what came through. I don't feel like I am a typical singer. I don't. I'm very I'm not introvert, but I'm kind of like I tend to, I'm not super social, even though I'm a Gemini. I'm selectively social. So, and I don't feel like going out and playing gigs and singing in public it's not my thing. So I am not like I feel like singing to me is about giving a powerful message. If I
right.
have a powerful message to give, that's why I am not concerned about doing an album. And I do I do it as it comes, as the inspiration arrives, and then I give all of myself to one song at a time. That's why I feel like it's also my unique signature. I think there are a lot of artists out there now. It's a new thing to be a singles artist
Mm,
because the music industry changed so much.
ah,
It's still very costly for somebody to produce an album,
yeah.
but you don't make money with music as easily as you used to.
Yeah, my husband's a salsa singer. So he came out with his first song in October, and he's working on two more songs now. But I understand the production, the cost of producing a song,
Yeah.
and especially because we do live instrument. He has a 12-piece salsa orchestra, so it's 12
Oh,
instruments. 12 instruments have to be recorded to do the
wow.
song,
Yes.
so it's
Yes.
even more. But
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. I love music. My parents were both pianists. So
Oh,
my mother's still around at 85, and she plays classical piano, Chopin, Tchaikovsky. So
oh,
I grew up with that music. Yeah.
that's wonderful.
Yeah. So the music is, and she says the music keeps her going. So I take her out salsa dancing on the weekend, and she'll dance all night till 2 in the morning.
Oh,
She doesn't get tired. She doesn't even sweat. She's like all night, all night going.
oh. I wish my mom was still here. I lost her in December also of
I'm
2021.
so
Like
sorry.
it was just 2 weeks after Ken Cragen passed away, my mom.
Wow. Wow. Well, everybody, a lot of people were affected because of the COVID and everything like that.
Yeah.
We lost friends and some family people in 2020 and
Yeah.
2021 as well. So I'm fortunate that my mother's still around, and she had gotten COVID. We all had COVID. And it was a little scary for a little bit, but she made it through. She had pneumonia. She was sick for a week in the hospital, and she's strong as ever. And thank goodness, I thank God that she's still around and I can celebrate Mother's Day with her this weekend. And
Yeah, what a blessing. It's a blessing.
you
It's
know,
not easy for somebody at that age to get infection like that. It's
oh, it
really
was
bad. Yeah.
so scary. I mean, she
Mhm.
had pneumonia, her and my aunt both, because we all lived together. Since 2020, we moved in together because I have to take care of them.
Mhm.
They both suffer from memory issues now.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
and I hate labeling it, so I'm not even going to say a word, but she forgets some things, they both do. So because of that, they can't be left alone. And
Mhm.
so we said the best thing was to just stay with them in the house. We had enough room, and
Mhm.
we've been there now ever since 2020.
Mhm.
So,
Wow.
but it's a blessing. I'm blessed. I'm very grateful that I have my mother and her sister, my aunt, who's 83. Both of them are strong. They
Mhm.
take care of each other, and we take care of all of us. We all take care of each other. So,
That's beautiful.
yeah, I'm really thankful that I can still have them around, and my
Mhm.
kids have their grandmother around and everything too.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
but I did see your video, the One Earth. I thought I got goosebumps the minute I started listening to it, like right away. I can feel the um the spiritual side of it, the compassion, and seeing the different people on the video as well about the earth and the animals. And I have a house full of animals. I have 4 cats and 3 dogs. So I love
I
animals.
have I have just one cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot to have them, but they're awesome. They're so good for you. For especially for my mother and my aunt, it makes such a difference to have the little dog, and it just
Mhm.
helps them a lot.
Oh yeah, they are so healing. They
Yeah,
do
they are.
give this, yeah, natural healing energy. Yeah.
And they know, like, the dog always goes to my aunt, like always lies next to her, always looks for her. Like the dogs always look for my aunt.
Oh, how
They're
interesting.
oh yeah.
Yeah. They form their own special bonds with
Yeah,
people.
yeah, they do. They do. And they're just so loving. They're just, because they're unconditional love. That's what I love about animals.
That's true.
They
Yeah.
always love you. Doesn't matter. They're never upset with you.
Yeah,
Wish people could be like that.
I know, right? Yeah.
Oh,
We
but
have a lot to learn from them.
so any besides this, anything else you're working on you want to let people know, or
Um,
projects coming up?
I am actually working right now just on this promotion and spreading, but I'm writing articles as well, because whenever um we blast out, we get requests for articles to be written. I just had a talk with Johnny Tan. I don't know if you know him, from My Mama's Kitchen. He has an amazing,
Oh, okay.
and he has a magazine, and this is a new magazine, and he wants me to write about how did I get here. It's all about, focused on moms, helping moms understand that there's more to them than just being a mom. Even though being a mom, he had 9 mothers. The whole story is so beautiful. I
Oh,
love him.
wow.
So I'm doing that. That's my focus now. But I do have 2 other tracks that I want to release that are semi-ready. And I will probably be focused on, as soon as a little bit of this slows down, because I'm having like 2 interviews a week or 3, and articles to write. So I will be focused more on trying to finish those 2, and one at a time, of course, and
Mhm.
creating some visuals for it, and doing it again, and maybe when I have enough to fill up like an EP, or, a small album, I'll release the album. Yeah, but for now, I think I need to stay focused on the music. It's
Well, this
It,
is big. I mean, the One Earth, this is, it's a big thing because right now you hear it all the time on TV. They're talking about
Mhm.
climate change and it's interesting because you have to really research more because they say so many things, but what is correct? That's the
Mhm.
whole thing too. Learning about, is this right? Is that right? What works, what doesn't work. So again,
Mhm.
it's just
Yeah.
education. It's just educating yourself on what's going on and letting people know there's options. So like you
Mhm.
said, there's
Mhm.
options for straws, there's option for plastic. You don't have to use plastic, an alternative.
Mhm. Mhm.
There are containers too that are healthier that you can, use containers instead of having to constantly throw things out. So
Yes.
there's a lot of different things we can do. Even with clothing, I found oh, I forgot where it was. I don't know if it was India. I think it was India. They make handbags out of the wrappers of the chips,
Oh,
like
what?
potato chips, whatever, the wrappers that come.
Where in that? In
I think it
Indonesia?
was, I think it's India. I have to look it up. I'm gonna find it. I have to
Mhm.
find it. But I found it and they make the bags out of the wrappers, like the Doritos, whatever the chip, those bags are kind of like, it's not a plastic. I don't know what kind of it is. You know how they.
Yeah, and that's also something that is it's not recyclable. It's gonna stay inside the planet, for a long time and causing problem and
Exactly. So now
Mhm.
they've taken that instead of throwing it out, they've actually I was watching it and they actually you see them they kind of like shred it so they make like almost individual like thread almost and then they
Mhm.
thread it and they actually make these bags.
See, I love this stuff. I love
See,
this stuff,
right? And this
Yeah, you have to start converting trash into new products, but eventually they will recycle back into when that bag becomes disposable. People are gonna
yeah.
throw. The thing is, eventually we're gonna have to figure out a way to either, you know, um,
Uh,
force these industries to find a different way to package their products, which I'm sure there are different ways to package it, or the consumer has to get upset enough to stop buying, which
yeah.
I know it's a hard thing to do. If you love Doritos, you're gonna want to have a bag of Doritos, but your choice to, oh, sorry about that.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah, I feel that, you know, eventually something's gonna have to give, and it's either the industry that has to, but it starts with us. That's why I say,
Right.
try to the best of your ability to find your favorite product that is packaged in glass. Like if you still consume milk, then find milk in a glass bottle. Find, if almond milk or whatever kind of
Right.
milk,
Right.
and the industry is going to notice that people are favoring other products and that their sales are going down, and they're going to understand because there's reports that go out and they know who will be selling, who's been selling most, who's
Right.
selling more. It has to do with, the consumer dictates what goes in the market, and this is the message we need to spread. The
Exactly.
power of one. Your choice in consuming anything, purchase, buying, is empowering that company to continue to produce the same thing. The more you get a product that will harm the environment, they will continue to produce because people want it.
The same
It's
like water. Water comes in plastic bottles, right? So
uh-huh.
we used to buy water at home, and I go, why are we buying? Where I'm looking at the recycle bin up to here with all these plastic bottles. They're not going anywhere. So
Mm-hmm.
now we have filters at the house. We use the bottle water from the sink, but we have filters, so the
Mm-hmm.
water gets filtered. And it's great. I haven't bought any water. I haven't spent any money on water, just on
Mm-hmm.
my filter, which is much less. And I don't have all that plastic anymore. So I got rid of all that. So now I don't do that anymore.
There you go.
Just one little thing, I just stop buying plastic bottles. Filter
Yeah.
your water at home and then just get like
Uh-huh.
a regular metal cup that you can use and wash and you put your water in and you keep going.
It's that simple. But again, we need to continue to remind people of what's happening to the planet, the problems that are piling up. Like you said, it's a mound of trash, and
Oh
when is
yeah.
that going to end, right? And this
Yeah.
is happening all around the world. So yeah, I think until people realize how bad it is, there's no motivation to change or to make those different choices. And I think that's why people like you know, people who do the work of spreading awareness, right? And creating innovative solutions, or spreading the news of innovative solutions, because unfortunately, you know, traditional news
Doesn't cover that.
doesn't take the time to do
No.
that. It's all fear-based. They don't have anything nice to say, because unfortunately, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah,
They
they're looking for ratings on the news media. So I'm looking. I do things with quality information. You know, helping other people. You know, I don't care about so and so star and what's going on in their life. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
Mhm,
That doesn't. It's more of like, what is your mission? And that's
mhm,
why I was drawn to you, because I see you in the song, and then there's such a message to it, and that's what's so important. It's like people need to listen to your song, and listen to the message, and
mhm,
understand how you said the power of one, just making a little change in your life to make a little bit better. We do beach cleanup here in Florida all the time. You know, we live in a state that's summer all the time, so there's always beach cleanups here.
mhm,
I get very upset when I go to the beach and I see garbage. I'm like, there's a garbage can right next to you. Why do you have garbage on the floor?
mhm,
They don't
mhm.
realize all that stuff goes into the ocean. And then we have the sea turtles. They hatch. So we have little areas. They put little barricades around them where the sea turtle eggs are,
Mhm,
because we have so many. So they're protected. And people understand that. So,
mhm.
and I don't understand how they don't understand. You protect the sea turtle, but what about the stuff you're leaving behind? That if the sea turtle
Yeah,
gets stuck in a plastic bag or wrapper, they're done.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
It is, yeah, it is sad that, you know, the the TV channels will not dedicate in a conscious universe, you know, in a conscious community, in a conscious country. These campaigns exist. Actually, you know, the government will implement time for, you know, these TV channels have to dedicate a certain amount of hours or minutes a day to creating consciousness, because, you know, children are watching TV. It starts
mhm.
from an early age, you know,
Yes,
and
yes,
they're watching their cartoons, their favorite things. And I think this is the time when I believe, you know, it would be fair for the government to get involved with, you know, either paying for these educational programs, or ads, just ads. Basically, it's an
yes.
ad that.
Save the beach, save the sea turtle, save whatever, our plants, the coral, like you said, the coral. I knew somebody who does that here in the Keys, in Key West, because the corals are dying. So they've had to replant coral, and do a whole nother thing on that. So
Mhm. Yeah, I think there's another scientist in Florida that actually, when we found out about uh, Dr. Kirby, Austin Kirby,
mhm.
we also found out about him. Right now, I can't remember because it was a while ago. But he's also somebody who has been getting corals and taking them out of the water and creating um, you know, the perfect environment for them, and understanding how fast they grow and getting the ones that grow faster and nursing them. It's like a nursery, and then
Nursery. Yeah.
go and take it to back into the ocean in a location that has the proper temperature, of course, you know, that would most facilitate their continuing growth and stuff like that. So, but you know, we need these things need funds, and
Yeah.
also being able to donate again, the power of one, even $1, $2, $5, $10. Don't undermine the power, because if everybody, like,
Like for every email, it's like for every email you send or you receive, I said, if I can just get $1 for every email that I get, oh wow, we do good, pretty good.
exactly.
You know?
And yeah, one of the most startling examples of it was Netflix. When Netflix began changing the industry, like nobody now, now everybody wants to stream. All the studios changed their, it's all content creation and streaming, because for $9.99, you have millions of people giving you $9. These are they're they're big giants, multi-billion dollars. This is what it is. If you contribute to this organization, if everybody dedicates at least $10 every month to one foundation, of choice, your favorite, the thing that concerns you the most, if you love Mother Nature, if you love forestry, if you love knowing the power that is inherent in nature, and herbs and everything that comes from it, and the deforestation that's happening. So if you care about reforestation, just make an effort and a consistent contribution, as small as it may be. Everybody has the power. Unless you're a homeless person, of course, there's always a little something you can choose to give to your favorite cause. And climate change has always been one of my favorites,
Yeah. I'm still, like I said, I'm still trying to understand. Like, I have to really do some research, deep dive, and to understand what really is happening, because you can't go by what you hear, because they tell you something else on the media, and there's so much controversy, the animals, the this, the that, the cars, the pollution, it's hard to like figure out really what's going on out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the chemicals, we have chemicals in the air, we have chemicals in our water. I mean, there's just so many things that affects us on a daily basis. Even our livestock, people who eat animals, fish. I mean, the fish industry, everything's in the water. I used to live in LA, and I remember going to like Santa Barbara, or even up to Malibu, and there was it's up in Santa Barbara, I noticed it. We were on the beach, and I had black tar on my feet. It was oil.
Oh, wow.
Because you can see the rigs in the ocean. When I was there, I remember seeing the rigs out there. And so the oil is leaking. And I remember getting oil on my feet. And this was back in, I want to say the 90s when I lived in there. So it's been a long time already. It's been 30 years. So I don't know how it is now.
Yeah.
That's scary. That's scary.
There's a lot of damage. And, some people say, the earth doesn't need help cleaning up. Oh, yes, it doesn't need help if we don't trash it, but we need help cleaning up our mess. It's not about the earth needing us. It's about we needing to clean our mess, because eventually it's going to catch up with us in our future generations, our children, grandchildren, and we're going to leave a depleted and
the
environment.
No, and we don't know. We won't be here. We won't be around. Maybe, it'll be 4 generations from now. We don't know when it's going to be that. So we try to do something now so they can have a future. If not, who knows what the future, what they'll have.
Exactly.
Planet. But I appreciate, I don't want to take up more of your time, but I appreciate you. I appreciate that you did this song, and I hope that this podcast will get out there and reach more people out there, and they could be more conscious about our earth.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you for that, and keep up the good work, and and let's hope and pray and keep giving back, so that we can make a difference.
Exactly. So have a wonderful and blessed day, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Rebooted the Podcast to learn about each episode's guests and topics. This is your host, Alita Hernandez. See you next Tuesday.